Hey, ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be What If Naruto Was a Hyuga Part 1. Now, for the next part of this, let's get this episode to 150 likes. Now, let's jump right into the what if. So, you may be asking, how is this actually going to happen? Well, pretty simple. One of Minato's parents, or both of them, would just have to be a Hyuga. And then Naruto was born with long dark hair and light purple eyes growing up. And when growing up, Naruto was growing close to Hinata because he, just like Hinata, after a while, they're both outcasts of the family. So, what they end up doing is actually going to a place called the Hyuga Sanctuary, where they store all their secret knowledge unknown to the rest of the Leaf Village. They have this there just in case the Leaf Village decides that they want to kick them out at some point, kind of like they did with the Uchiha. So they go there, and they start reading the scrolls. After reading some of these scrolls, they're reading a lot about different jutsu they can learn and how they can actually use these in effectiveness with the Byakugan, such as the 8 trigrams 128 palms, and all those different kinds of things. Even when doing this, they pick up much better on how to use the gentle fist. Naruto, on one hand, is really good with the gentle fist, while Hinata is better with the 64 is better with the palms technique. So, with that happening, they leave the sanctuary after reading a lot about the history and all of the different things that the Hyuga used to do, and learn that they were not exactly the best of people back in the day. But now, we're just going to continue where they go to the academy. And when training at the academy, they train much harder than they do originally. Naruto, not growing up going around pranking people, but he actually grows up training and trying to learn the 64 palms and trying to perfect his abilities with the gentle fist and even learning the 8 trigrams twin lions. So during their training, they continue to grow up, and by the point they graduate at the age of 12, Naruto and Hinata both have the ability, they have like perfect gentle fist and can go up to 8 trigrams 64 palms, with them both knowing the twins lions and air palm. So that's where I'm going to start off the actual series, or where the series began originally. So with them graduating from the academy at the age of 12, they get placed on the same team with each other, just because of how how well their teamwork works, and they get placed on a team with Sasuke. So this is going to be a very strong team with 3 of the top-ranking people in the class, but they did this just because they wanted Kakashi to be on Naruto's team because of the Nine Tails, and also they wanted Hinata to be there, but he also has a Sharingan, so he can teach Sasuke the ways, because, there's not that many of Uchiha left, so I don't think there's really anybody else that could be teaching him. So after graduating from the academy and getting placed on their teams, Kakashi shows up late, like he always does, and he introduces himself as Kakashi, and he's going to be their leader. After asking introductions from each other, Sasuke says the same thing, with Hinata wanting to not only prove to Naruto that she's strong and she's going to be just as strong as him, but to also make a good wife someday. With Naruto wanting the same goal as he did in the original, but actually having a much stronger type of personality instead. He's not like the jokester that he is. He's serious, and he's dead serious about, I'm going to become the Hokage one day, and I'm going to be much stronger than any of the Kages that came before me. So now Kakashi tells them to meet him in the morning, and they will do the bell test. Don't eat any breakfast, he tells them as he leaves. So they end up going the next morning to the bell test. None of them have eaten breakfast yet. So when they do arrive, Kakashi finally arrives again because once again he's late. So after he explains what the bell test is, everybody hides. Unlike in the original, Naruto actually does go, and he hides off into the forest. So the first one to actually challenge him is Sasuke. Quickly making Kakashi put away his book, Sasuke is actually putting up a decent fight up until Kakashi traps him by putting him in the ground. And next is Naruto. Naruto comes out and he begins their fight, with Kakashi already having his book put away and slightly powered up to his, we'll say 20%. He is easily taking on Naruto. But Naruto then activates his Byakugan and starts using his 8 trigrams. he says 8 trigrams, 16 palms, then 32 palms, and then he goes to 64 palms and leaves Kakashi there on the ground, baffled at what just happened to him. He instantly realized that this was like a cut from the crowd of everybody else. He's much stronger than anybody he's ever faced at this level before. Or stronger than any genin he's ever faced before. Kakashi, then standing up, because Naruto hadn't managed to had missed some of his chakra points and was being still quite lousy at that. But, then again, Naruto wasn't that good at that jutsu. He had more proficiency with the gentle fist. This is when Naruto started using the gentle fist and air palms and different techniques like that. And he was actually like impressing Kakashi a lot with just the power. It's almost like another Neji. And Kakashi was insanely impressed with Neji and didn't even think he should be at the Chunin exams. He thought he should already be a Chunin or even Jonin at that point. So, quickly, Kakashi has to realizes that he has to take this kid out just before they start using teamwork, because at that rate they could almost defeat him. As he's thinking this to himself, though, Hinata comes in, and with her proficiency with the palms attack, and Naruto's proficiency with the gentle fist, they make quick work of Kakashi and take his bells. After taking the bells from him, they are given a thumbs up and says, but next time, you guys should include Sasuke in your battle, because this was actually a team about teamwork. So they keep this in their mind, and they move on. And now they're doing their D-rank missions. And with their D-rank missions, it goes relatively the same, except they have a little bit more, they have more ease with them, just because of their increased vision that they have, and like fighting the ninja cat and stuff like that. So now, the rest of the D-rank missions go exactly the same, and I'm not going to plan on covering them. So they get bored of these, and they end up heading to Hiruzen and asking for a higher rank mission because they're just simply getting bored of him and they want a better mission. So when they do go to Hiruzen, he tells them that, yeah, sure, he'll give him a higher rank mission. He'll give him a C rank mission to escort a bridge builder named Tazuna to his homeland so he can build a bridge there. So Tazuna meets them, and he's actually pretty impressed. Even though they are young and they're genin, he notices that literally all of them, including Sasuke, all have dojutsu, because he's heard of the legend of the Uchiha clan, obviously, but he also sees that the other two already have already activated Byakugans. So they end up meeting at the gate a while later, and they start their journey. All of them but Sasuke notice that there's a puddle on the ground, and think that this is a little weird considering it's been the dry season for a while now, and the rainy season's long gone. So they keep this in the back of their minds, but keep moving on. This is where the attack happens, and Kakashi is seemingly killed by 2 Chunin brothers. Naruto and Hinata, both standing up faster than even Sasuke could react, they each take out one of them and leave them lying there on the ground unconscious. Not even able to get up because all of their chakra points were closed, the 2 Chunin brothers are worried, and this is where they both get knocked out, and this is where Kakashi walks back and says good job to all of them, and they continue their walking after sending the 2 Chunin brothers back to the village for questioning. So after they send them back to the village, and they continue their walk, a while later there's this mist that rolls in, and nobody really thinks much of it at first. But then everybody can tell, like, instantly, that not only is there chakra running through this mist, but there's also a high amount of bloodlust in it as well. So they continue walking, but they definitely know somebody's there. And this is when a sword flies overhead. Everybody already very cautious, everybody ducks without Kakashi having to tell everybody about it. And this is where Zabuza makes his first appearance. And he jumps on top of his sword and lands in front of them. After he does this, Kakashi begins his fight with them, until he gets trapped in a water prison, where, instead of like the original, Hinata and Naruto both run up to Zabuza, and Naruto uses a series of air palms on him, and then proceeds to charge up 2 twin lions, and he slams them both into Zabuza, actually landing attacks on him. So now, with that happening, Zabuza is sent flying from the water prison as Kakashi gets out of it, unleashing a Sharingan, which he uses to thoroughly plow through Zabuza, and this is until 2 needles fly out of nowhere. But Naruto and Hinata both intercept some of these needles and then look at where they just came from. Because they saw this person from before. They knew they were watching this fight, but they didn't think they'd get involved with this person unless they got involved with them. So now they are looking at this person, and it's Haku. He comes out into the clearing and says, "Why'd you deflect it? I was going to unleash the final blow on him. I'm a bounty hunter, and he has a quite high bounty on his head, and I was planning on taking him back." This is where Kakashi finally speaks up and says, "Well, just because he has a high bounty doesn't mean we don't want him. No, he has a dead or alive bounty, so we're going to probably take him back alive so we can get some stuff out of him, for questioning and all." This is where the battle with Haku begins, because Haku obviously wants to save his master. So Haku initially just tries to grab Zabuza and back up and retreat with them. But he doesn't actually manage to do this because all three of them are standing in front of her, where Sasuke feels very left out guarding Tazuna in the back. So, with all three of them fighting Haku, he's quickly overpowered, and he goes to his last tactic. He throws down a smoke bomb, grabs Zabuza from where he was laying, and leaves. Kakashi thinking to himself, "Shit, I should have sent somebody back there to guard him." And now they all head back to Tazuna's house, and they're doing their tree walking training. But Naruto and Hinata both already know that jutsu, or technique, so they already know it, so they don't have to go do it. And while Sasuke is doing that, they are actually learning something else, with both of them having the lightning-style chakra nature, and having some proficiency in how to use it. Kakashi is actually teaching them how to utilize it to make a Chidori. But Kakashi actually, after a while of training them, realizes that this wouldn't be a good thing because of their vision, that they'd have tunnel vision while using it. But then he remembers, oh wait, they have a Byakugan. That might cancel that out, but he wasn't completely sure on that. But he decides to teach it to him anyway, just in case. With Hinata and Naruto both learning the Chidori and also making a slight counterpart to it, just making a slight paralysis jutsu just by charging up a slight amount of their lightning style just to obviously paralyze the opponent. So that happens, and they head back to where the bridge is. Naruto leaves back a shadow clone, and just because he had some intuition that something bad might happen while they're gone, and they head over to the bridge. And while standing at the bridge, they have their next encounter with Haku and Zabuza. Now everybody's fully recovered, and they're going to have their second bout. So that's where I'm going to leave this part off. I'll see you guys in the next part of What If Naruto Was a Hyuga.